In 2024, cocoa prices nearly tripled to record levels. To ensure farmers captured a share of this $100 billion industry, regulators in Ivory Coast and Ghana locked in farm gate prices for the coming seasons, guaranteeing payments of over $5,000 per metric ton. But by early 2026, a record-breaking harvest across West Africa filled local warehouses to their limits. The physical supply of beans has reached a point that the existing infrastructure can barely contain. Despite this physical abundance, the farmers have not been paid in months. In the village of Suhenso, families cannot afford school fees or basic medical care, with some reports of farmers dying at home because they lacked the cash for a hospital visit. The freeze has left the Ghana Cocoa Board with a debt exceeding $3 billion. Because the board cannot process payments, 10 billion cedis in missing income has effectively paralyzed the rural economy. This bumper crop has resulted in a landscape where every warehouse is at capacity, yet the communities that produce the beans are penniless. The reason for this deadlock lies in how Ivory Coast and Ghana manage their exports. Unlike rival producers, these state regulators sell roughly 80% of their beans to global traders a full year in advance. This chart shows the pricing mechanism. The state uses those forward sales to set a guaranteed farm gate price for the entire season. It is a legal mandate designed to protect local farmers from the daily fluctuations of the global market. The system broke in early 2026 when global demand for chocolate softened, just as favorable weather produced a 400,000-ton global supply surplus. Global futures prices responded by losing half their value, dropping to roughly $3,100 a ton. On this chart, you can see the market price fall significantly below the fixed price the governments already promised to pay their farmers. Because the state set price was now 40% higher than the international market rate, global traders simply stopped buying West African beans. As buyers walked away, the export pipeline stalled. This image from the port shows thousands of tons of cocoa sitting idle, while international cargo ships remain empty. This left the governments in a legal deadlock. They were mandated by their own regulations to buy a massive harvest at peak market prices, but they had no way to sell that harvest to generate the cash. To bridge the gap, Ghana attempted to secure a syndicated loan from international banks. However, given the country's broader debt crisis, that financing was denied, leaving the cocoa regulator without the funds to pay for the beans already sitting in its warehouses. In a final attempt to clear the arrears, the state turned to the domestic bond market, trying to borrow from local investors to cover the multi-billion-dollar shortfall. While the governments held millions of tons of inventory they could not move, multinational buyers waited for the market to bottom out. The regulators were essentially stranded with the world's supply of cocoa and no liquid capital to pay for it. The first emergency measure came from Ivory Coast, which launched a $500 million program to buy back 100,000 tons of its own unsold stocks from local cooperatives. Even this intervention was too small to clear the backlog. International traders remained inactive, knowing the West African regulators could not hold the beans indefinitely without cash flow. This chart shows the eventual capitulation. In February 2026, both countries were forced to slash their guaranteed farm gate prices by nearly a third to bring them closer to international market reality. While the income for these farmers was cut, their overhead stayed the same. The cost of manual labor and farm maintenance did not drop with the cocoa price, leaving many unable to recoup the $1,000 it costs to maintain a single acre. The fixed price system was billed as a shield against the volatility of the global market, but when that market crashed, the shield became a cage, leaving the world's most vulnerable farmers to bear the cost of a price they were told was guaranteed.